Welcome back. Let's put this in the ether. I watched this movie called Girl Interrupted. It's a movie starring Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie. Um, it was released in 1999. Girl Interrupted, right? Once you watch this movie, you can realize how crazy girls can be. How mental illness is a real thing in women, right? Women are struggling with mental illness like crazy right now. When they have mental illness, right? It's said in the movie, right? I think it's in the movie, but with mental illness, there's no cure for mental illness. There is no cure. There's no saving. When you have mental illness, that's it. There's no pill. There's no magic pill you could take or they could take. There's no right amount of therapy that could fix them. Right? It's only if it's therapy is not a proven science. Right? Just because you have therapy doesn't mean you're fixed. Right? Mental illness, there's no cure, is unfixable. This is why I'm just telling guys, if she should demonstrate any kind of mental illness, that's a red flag. You should not go for that, right? Mental illness, right? A lot of women are undiagnosed schizophrenic, all right? They're undiagnosed mental illness. I mean, the reason why they're undiagnosed is because not all women have the capability or resources to go to a therapist and get diagnosed, right? Therapy sessions are expensive, and not women. They don't have that much money, so they're least likely to include therapy. When in actuality, they need therapy. I mean, the thing with therapy is that it's not a cure. It's not a cure. But the thing is, to enable for women to cope with their insanity, they need to talk to somebody. Unfortunately, they don't have nobody to talk to. Most women out there are lonely. They just need somebody to talk to and reflect on on what's going on in their mind. The thing is, with women's mind, it goes anything that goes in the woman's mind, it goes 100 miles per hour. They can't comprehend or organize their thought well enough for them to comprehend what their life decision, to comprehend what they're doing, making choices. This is why it's so hard for them to make choices, right? It's so hard to make women to make choices because they have so much thing in their head. Excuse me, right? And when they have so much things in their head, they tend to have mental illness. They can't solve it. This is why women need. I don't want to say this in a disparaging way. Women need more. I mean, women need men more than men need. Women need men more than men need women. Right? Men will guide them in the right directions. Right? Why do you think? Why do you think a pimp and a prostitute? Why do you think the prostitute need the pimp? Why do you think the prostitute need the pimp? Right? Because if you leave a prostitute alone, she'll make the wrong decision, get with the wrong guy, get herself in more trouble. The pimp get her in order, right? The pimp have her in line. You ever watch the movie Hustle and Flow? Right? It's about an aspiring rapper, and he's also a pimp, and he have his three or fours with him, right? There was a scene that I guess he tried to let go one of his three or fours, his hoes, right? And she will not leave him, right? Because she refused to leave him because she'll be lost without him. Right? This is what happens. The same effect when it comes to women, right? Don't you ever see that the reason when women divorce a man, she seems more lost than ever, right? She goes on the wrong track and destroy herself, self destruction. That's why I'm saying divorce is self destructions, right? When a woman make the choice of leaving a man, she's destroying herself and other people in her life, right? This is why they need somebody who guide them in the right directions, right? If they don't have that, they'll go insane, right? They needed men more than men needed them. Guys can lead themselves. Guys are natural born survivors, right? Guys not they're wired to survive, right? If they're not flooded with emotional damage, emotional baggage, right? But if a guy's in the right mind, he's able to survive by himself in the wilderness, right? Why I think there's so much example of guys living in cabin by himself, right? Guys who live in cabin by themselves. You don't see that often. A woman that's able to live in cabin by herself, right? Or a situation. Why do you think in movies or shows when in a household, right, between a family, it's always the men who go downstairs to figure out what's that noise downstairs, right? The women don't. The woman, the woman is not the type who investigate all the strange noises and get herself in that situation. It's always the men that does that, right? And girls can be by themselves because if they're by themselves, who's gonna figure out that noise in the basement or figure out that noise downstairs? They're not gonna go there and investigate. They're gonna be there scared than ever, right? And because of that situation, if a woman live in an apartment by herself, she's easily taken advantage of. There's many examples where home invader robberies, right, invade a woman's house, and the woman can't defend herself, and she get what? She get raped, right? And this is why women need men more than men need women, because men will prevent that thing from happening, prevent women from being raped by a home invader, right? Right? Women is dangerous for a woman to live by herself, because how would she react to a invasion robbery? How would she defend herself? And especially if she's a liberal woman and she don't like the Second Amendment, how would you defend yourself? Right? Criminals don't care, right? This is why it's important to have a man in your life. A man in your life will protect you, right? Will protect you from these invasions, right? A man in your life will prevent all these heinous things from happening. And women don't understand it because of their mental illness. They've been feeding all this false premise that women are independent, right? And they can't see it because due to their mental illness, they can't comprehend what's going on, right? They can't. They misguided, right? So they can't be saved if they have mental illness. That's why I tell a lot of guys, if she's gone beyond repairable, like due to her mental illness, there's no way of saving her, right? A way to avoid that is if you try to understand her past by asking her history with her parent, right? If she have a good history with her parent, most likely she's a more stable minded person, right? Especially if she have a respectful relationship with her fathers, right? This is why I'm saying, like, every guys, when you want to figure out how women are, try to figure out how are her relationship with her fathers, because her father will guide her the right directions, right? This is why women need men. Men will guide women in the right directions, right? And women are these days they're so blinded by what's going on right now. They think that their freedom is setting them free, which in actuality is only lead to their mental illness, right? There's a lot of women out there who who's been in a sane asylum. I haven't checked out the numbers, right? But I really think that besides the men in jail, right? Most men, right? There are crazy men out there. There's a reason why there are crazy men out there, because they don't put them in asylum, right? When the men are crazy, they don't put them in asylum. They put it in the jail cell. I mean, penitentiaries, right? But when women go crazy, they're more inclined to put them in the mental institutions, right? And that's what sucks about being a man. Because if you file for insanity, they put you in a general population with all the other men out there in a prison. But if a woman file for insanity, they'll put them in a mental institutions, right? But when you watch this movie, back to what I was saying about this movie, Girls Interrupted, right? It shows that girls have a lot of psychological problems, right? They're more depressed. They're more likely to off themselves, right? They're cutters, right? There are more women who cut themselves than men. I think. I'm not sure. Don't take me on that word, but yeah, I'm sure the numbers is high, skyrocketing. But mental illness is a serious thing, and the sad thing about it, it cannot be fixed. Right? You gotta look at that angle. You could probably treat it with therapy. You could treat it with therapy, but therapy is not a cure, right? You cannot you cannot fix a woman with illness. That's why I tell men, get away from them as much as possible. Don't associate with them. Leave them alone, right? Leave them alone. Find some other girls. If you know she's crazy, there should be all these red flags that she's crazy, right? Leave them alone. It doesn't benefit. Don't try to save them. Don't try to be the Superman. Don't try to don't try to to be the hero. You can't save a three or fours, right? They're not salvageable, right? Just do yourself that favor, and you'll appreciate more, Right? Don't fall for it. Right? Don't fall for her lies, and just make the right decision. Stay away from him. Right? They say if they seem abnormal, right? If over possessive, most likely she have some kind of mental illness out there. But on that note, guys, if I missed something, if you agree or disagree with what I said, leave a comment below. And on that note, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe, and peace and blessings.